This week on Face Off Hockey Show, who knows? By myself. It's all me. I went to happy hour. These things are going to be great. You're going to love it. It's Face Off Hockey Show. How about right about now? There's no music. It's just me. Welcome again to another edition of Face Off Hockey Show. I am your host, Scotty Waz. Welcome. So we have a different dynamic this week. First off, as you see, we're back on YouTube. How great is that? How great is that? We finally are back on the Ubity tubes. I enjoy it. I'm sure you enjoy it. Huzzah, huzzah. Secondly, Johnny P. gone. He is in England. It's about, I would say, 11:30 there on the PM side. Mark with the C, allegedly locked out of his house. That's a thing that's happening. So you're stuck with me after I went to the happy hour. Happy hour by myself. Not by myself, with some coworkers. But here we are, doing a show all by itself. Why is Barstool trending? I haven't been online all day. What did Barstool do this time? All right. Fantastic. Anyway, welcome. The Stanley Cup Final in full swing. The Boston Bruins are up 1-0 as we go into Game 2 as we record this on Wednesday night. 1-0 the Bruins. The St. Louis Blues kind of blew Monday night's game up to Cobb. Next thing you know, they forget how to play defense. They forget how to be disciplined. And ish happens to the point where they blow it. And the Bruins take over, and the Bruins win the game. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. So that's where we're at on that. We're 1-0 in that situation. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. Hope it was fantastic for you. It was fantastic for me because we went up to Winnipeg and I got nothing. We did nothing other than that. And away we freaking go. So what did I do this weekend? Of course, to celebrate Memorial Day and the remembrance of our American fallen, I went up to Winnipeg. The other motherland, as the kids like to say. So the other motherland brings you Joe Daly's sports cards and memorabilia. For me, fantastic. I love it. Loved every second of it. And you will too. Because of the fact that so much fun. Let's look at the fun stuff Scotty got. Let's look at the fun stuff Scotty got upside down. Pokey and the Bandit poster from the Slevin. It was a Slevin holiday for Scotty Waz. The 7-Eleven, Pokey Reddick there, Daniel Berthume there. It's a traditional thing. It's a fantastic thing. Iconic, as it were. So this is in my possession. As you see, I have it in my hand. Don't look at the price. You don't worry about that. You don't care about my finances. A lot of money. So then Uncle Scotty also gets in his Slevin adventure some Slevin cards. So this is Canada exclusive. Back in 85, 86, Slevin cards, collector series all day, day. And of course, when you talk about the Washington Capitals, you talk about two fantastic mustaches that are Rod Langway and Mike Gartner. That's how it rolls there. This is a fantastic set. If you're ever in Winnipeg, and I think you must trek there. If for nothing else, you trek there in order to get some Joe Daly sports memorabilia there in Winnipeg. It is a wonderful source, of just your entire childhood or entire hockey ideal for memorabilia. That is the place you go to. Because that's the place that has everything. Jen got a 1934-35 Montreal Maroons Stanley Cup championship post, like a little photo. An original, not a replica. It's all torn on the side. It's all yellowed. You know it's real. That stuff is invaluable. A lot of programs, a lot of pictures, a lot of hockey cards. They do framing as well. Go to Joe Daly's. I'm telling you right now, go to Joe Daly's. Why is this not focusing on my face? It's probably for the best for everybody involved. Go to Joe Daly's because it's fantastic. And I implore you to go do that. They sponsored the Bruins rally towel for the Knights game. Thank you, AJ, for letting me know about Deadspin's. Listen, Barstool. Let's talk about Barstool. The other guys aren't here. I'll talk about Barstool. There's one guy that I know who just strokes Barstool to the fullest. And I will say there are some things about Barstool I do enjoy. There are some things that are funny. By and large, though, I think it's lowest common denominator sports personalities. And that's fine. If that's your gig, if you like to check it out for dumb fun, that's fine. You check it out and take it seriously and take it as a religion, you might have a little problem here. By and large, though, I don't have a problem with Deadspin and or Barstool or Deadspin for that matter too. Deadspin's hilarious. Barstool as a whole, time and time again, I wonder why it's there. I wonder why it's so popular. I wonder why it has a following. And then I look at sports fans all over the world, and it's like, yeah, this seems right. This seems to be the locale it's for. So we do it that way. So, Barstool being what it is, God bless them. They're making their money. I can't be sad or jealous or anything about that. They did what they did. God bless them and make it happen. As a whole, though, could do without them. Give or take them. It's not a necessity for me to have them in my life. I don't really check them out that much. The only thing that I thought was great was Pat McAfee, and he's gone and done his own thing, so I don't rely on Barstool all that much anymore. Dave Portnoy seems like a good guy, if not prototypical Boston guy, completely full of himself. Is what it is. Take it as you see it. So yeah, went to the motherland and then cleaned some stuff out, and that was my weekend. That was the week. Shortest week ever as we start 22 minutes late. If you're on the podcast, if you're hashtag team podcast, you don't know about this. You don't know about what's going on. Things happen. So here we are. So we get to everything else. We now get to everything else because that is what we do here. Without Johnny, our producer to the stars, he's taking a well-deserved holiday over in England, enjoying the crumpets and tea. I think that they legally have to do. And going from there. Here we are moving forward. Here we are going ahead. Game 2 within a few minutes. We are half an hour away from game 2. Not a preview show. I'm hockeyed out. I will not deny I am very hockeyed out right now. Between UND and the NHL and the Maryland Black Bears, I am hockeyed out right now. This day in between games, love it. The next game, where it's not until Saturday, I think, I'm gonna love that even more. Especially with Boston winning, not a fan of that. Would love to have St. Louis win. Heart of hearts, I think St. Louis wins in 7, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. We'll see how that all pans out. But I'm kind of hockeyed out at this point, and moving forward, we will see how things roll from there as we get into the summertime season. Of course, the draft stuff is a big deal. Everything a big deal. And we move onward and upward from there. However, we have to talk things because things are in the news, ladies and gentlemen. Oddly enough, there's one injury. There's one injury. It's Zdeno Chara's upper body injury. He's dead. I'm pretty sure he's playing. He took a shot right in the wrist and started bleeding instantaneously. He went off the ice, and he was kind of gone. So I'm sure he'll play today. Maybe put a little bit more between his little elbow pad and the cuff of his glove, as he is a giant. Might want to put some bubble wrap there. I don't know if it's illegal or not. If it is, it shouldn't be. For a man of his stature, it should not be illegal. Let the man pad up as he wants to. He's a big man. He could crush everybody. 6'9", Gary Bettman's about 5'4". And if you listen to little Uzi Vert, he's 5'3", but 6 foot on his stacks. I think that's a money reference. I try to learn hip-hop to be with the kids. I'm listening to that Old Town Road stuff with the Billy Cyrus. Doesn't bode well for me. Doesn't really Doesn't really click with me. Shockingly enough, white kid from suburban Baltimore now living in Grand Forks. Shocking that he doesn't get it. Anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, we do a Patreon each and every week. Patreon.com/FaceOffHockeyShow. We have a Patreon pick if you're in that $5 Langway tier. You also get an extra show if you're in that $5 Langway tier. Go to that. You're having a great time for yourself. You could be like Chris and Matthew and Damon and Mark and Trista, Brian, Jeff, Kevin, Ethan, Mitch, Angela, and Sean. They contribute, and so can you. Patreon.com/FaceOffHockeyShow. All the money we goes back into the show for travel, for cost. If our computer blows up, if we have to find our own streaming server, if we have to do that, then it becomes a thing. Right now, we're not doing a thing. Right now, it's Uncle Scotty's weekly venture. Things are happening. This week's Patreon, we threw it out there, and the necessity of the NHL Combine. You know, I'm going to take the hat off for this. I was wearing a hat because I just ran in the door. It's unusual for me to wear a hat these days on the air. So we'll just throw that to the side. Get a little comfortable. Take the jacket off like Mr. Rogers and talk about the necessity of the NHL Combine. Now, the Combine is an event that has actually media credential. It is something you have to apply for as a part of the NHL media. You can't just show up there and say, hey, I want to watch these kids work out, because that's creepy. They want to run a vetted test on you. By and large, the NHL Combine is stupid. I'm just going to put it out there. NHL Combine is dumb. It is not like the NFL Combine where you actually have to do running drills. You have to do passing drills. You do, like, all the stuff that they do has little to no effect on the actual play on the ice. Maybe the biking where they put the gas mask over them and tell them to bike through it. Maybe that. Aside from that, the NHL Combine is worthless. The NHL Combine, you don't get any pro days with these kids. There's no pro days with these kids. They can't take off the Combine and say, yeah, come visit me in Espoo, Finland, like the Capo kid. He's not going to the Combine. He knows it's dumb. He understands it. He just won a gold medal at the World Championships with the stellar moves. If he doesn't go number one, it'll be a travesty. As much as I love Jack Hughes, I think it's a travesty. It's a travesty if Kako does not go to the if it goes number one overall. It seems like he should. It seems like we should have Capo Kako go because it's a fun name to say. I don't think Jack Hughes can match up to that. Jack Hughes is a good player. Kako went off and won a world championship and was a vital part in that. And might I say, a vital part in a team that had 0 NHLers. Or NHLers that had 0 goals. And Mike Liut's their agent. So what more fitting thing to have the number one goaltender that wore number one for the Capitals in 1989-90 than have the number one pick and Capo Kako. Like, honestly, it seems like a fit. Seems like a sure thing. Double down, kids, on that. But the Combine itself, it's I don't understand. Like I said, if this was on ice things, if this was on ice adjustment, then I could see the reason why they have a Combine. The NFL Combine's a thing where they have running things, where they have jumping things, where they have things that actually pertain to the game itself. I think it was Sam Bennett who couldn't do a pull-up. How many times do you see a guy doing a pull-up on the ice? Why is that a thing? Why is the running the bike? Why is the bike a thing? You have air, you don't. These kids going all out. Like, maybe that's in the mindset of the hockey player themselves. Maybe that's the whole hockey player mindset where you look at this and it's just like, oh, we got to go with the flow. We got to be a team player constantly. And they just go to it for S's and gigs. I am entirely shocked that this is the thing. And the Combine itself, I almost think is just a way for the NHL Network to bide up time, even though they have a lot of programs. There's a lot of open hours for the NHL Network to do things, and they don't do it. They're just like, let's throw the combine on there, and they're going to do the top 10 list from 2008. It's the NHL Network. That's another story entirely. But the fact that this is a thing and it's broadcasted, trying to be like the NFL Combine, it's shocking to me. I don't much care for it, and I think overall, it's dumb. It's not a thing that needs to be happening. It's not a thing that I think overall should be a basis on a player's stock because, like I said, very little of these movements and very little of these attributes are going to contribute things to the ice. Yet you get these wacky articles that Jack Hughes couldn't do more than 2 pull-ups. That some other kid that Judd Caulfield, that he can't do more than 3 sit-ups. Like all this arbitrary bullshit that these kids get judged on when they already have pressure enough. It's something that's not right. It's something that I don't care for, and it's something that I think is dumb to broadcast overall. Do teams need a little bit of their fitness? I guess. I mean, I guess it's not. I don't think it's an end-all, be-all situation. I don't think that if they go ahead and not do this, I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. I mean, Capo Caco just went all ham in the World Championships. He's skipping the event. He's going to celebrate his gold medal because he was a part of it. I think that being named to that team, and I think Jack Hughes, I think it benefits him to be named to that team as well. It's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. As an undrafted player, as a guy in his draft year, to be named to your national team for the World Hockey Championships, that's a bigger deal than whether or not you could do 10 sets of pull-ups. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the guy who doesn't understand fitness. A fat guy. Of course I don't understand fitness. You guys should know that by now. But by and large, like, it doesn't seem like there's any leaning towards this whatsoever. And the fact that it's happening and the fact that it's touted as a big media event is dumb in my mind. Let anybody show up to this goddamn thing. Why does it have to be credentialed? It's like I said, it's not a situation where he's a wide receiver, where his 40 score is going to be determined upon whether he's going to be a number 1 pick or a round 3 pick. Makes zero sense to me. But again, who am I? I am but a carrier of this message. It's dumb. By and large, the combine is dumb. And by and large, I think it needs to be stopped. And by and large, I use by and large too much. So overall, the combine, dumb idea. It has, like, if this was on ice skills, if this was just a tryout, if this was a combine like these junior leagues have, or tryouts like these junior leagues have, where they have a pre-draft tryout. The Maryland Black Bears, I'll use them as an example because they're local and I get a lot of their things. They have pre-draft tryouts because their draft is June 4th. So next Tuesday. Obviously, we'll have comprehensive coverage next week about it. So they have pre-draft combines, pre-draft tryouts. They do stuff off the ice, but for all intents and purposes, a lot of the things are on the ice, and I think that's a better understanding about what you're doing against competition there. Junior hockey and NHL hockey, completely different things. I understand that. But if you have more on-ice things going on in this combine, I could give it a pass. If you do a skills competition with this combine, give it a pass. Riding a bike, jumping, hitting the top thing. What does that have to do with hockey? Bike, sure. Cardio, fine. Okay, I get it. Long jumps, pull-ups, sit-ups, vertical. At what point in time has any hockey player used the vertical aside from on the pickup basketball court, which their contract says they can't do? At what point in time? It doesn't happen because jumping on skates is fucking tough. It's tough and hard and tarf. It's tarred, everybody. That's a bad word, Scott. Why'd you use that one? He could have used tough and hard and rough. He could have used that one. Anyway, point is this. The NHL Combine is a pox against our generation, and I want it to stop. These young kids have had enough already. If you're going to do something with a Combine, put them on the ice and do a skills competition. That'll be more entertaining. That you can get people to watch and actually be invested in. If Jack Hughes does a little lap around the rink in Connor McDavid time, that's something to be excited about. If Capo Caco can go ahead and shoot 4 of 4 in 15 seconds, that's something I'm excited about. If a top goaltending prospect who's not going to be picked until the 4th round can stop everybody, that's something that could get that kid drafted late first, early second round. Is if a goaltender goes out there and he starts just stopping guys right on the spot. You develop him. You put an interest in him. But no, that's not what the NHL Combine does. We're doing what the NFL does. We're doing all this stuff that's not on ice things. It's worthless. So, in summation, NFL Combine, fantastic, great, has stuff to do with the game. NHL Combine, get it on the ice. It's worthless otherwise. So that's your Patreon pick. That's the money you're spending and going from there. Is it a little wipey? I don't know. All right, let's get to some news. Patreon pick is over. Thank you all for contributing. I appreciate you one and all. Dave Tippett. You thought he had a cushy job in Seattle. You thought that he had done it. He's biding his time. He's doing the Barry Trotz method. Waiting 2 years. Waiting 2 years until the team starts up. No, sir. Dave Tippett was named the Edmonton Oilers head coach. The 16th head coach in franchise history. With an asterisk, as 8 of the 16 coaches, half of the 16 coaches were in the last decade. Half of the 16 coaches were in this decade alone. This team's been around since 79, 80 in the NHL. Before that, in the WHA, which I don't think the NHL counts. 16th head coach, 8th in the last 10. Go to ScottyWaz.com for my thoughts on this. I will put it to you this simple. It doesn't matter how much he does. If this is just an older version of him and Ken Holland, like Peter Chiarelli and Todd McClellan, if this is not going to go anywhere, if you can't get rid of that Milan Lucic's contract, if you cannot get some defense in there, if you cannot get stable goaltending in there, it doesn't matter who the hell's behind the bench. It doesn't matter if you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. This team is going nowhere because it's a 2-person team. 2 people out of 23 on the roster, on the main roster, including scratches. You're not going to have success no matter who's behind the bench there. Be Dave Tippett, it could be Jesus. Todd McClellan had a better running time, had a better resume on paper than Dave Tippett did. He couldn't get things done. He got 1 playoff appearance. It is because look at their goaltending. Right now, the goaltending right now is abysmal. It's Mikko Koskinen, wearing number 19. He was abysmal. Rumor is Mike Smith could go to Edmonton, which congratulations, Edmonton. You'll get a goalie who's great, kind of, until he gets unhinged or flops too much, plays the puck wrong, overplays the puck. It's not happy in Edmonton. There is no joy in Edmonton in the sheer effect that this is a team that I don't know can turn it around. This is a team that I do not understand what's going on. They have the best player in the world. They possibly have the 2 of the top 10 players in the entire world. Connor McDavid being number 1, and Leon Draisaitl, I think, could be in the top 10 as well, if not just outside. And the next thing you know, outside of them, nothing. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins trying as he might, can't get it done. He's a serviceable player. Can he be a number one center? Can he be a number 2 center? He might have to get traded to find out. Defense. Adam Larson. Terrible season last year. Can he kick back this year? Who's to say? Darnell Nurse hasn't been coming along like they thought. They still owe Chris Russell a lot of money over a couple years. It's a rough time. It's a rough time to be an Oilers fan because there's so much promise and then it can't deliver. Will that change this year under Dave Tippett? I'm sure for the start it will. I'm sure for the early part it will. But when everything kind of settles out, will they still be the same team? I mean, he's got more tools than he had in Phoenix. But does that mean he's going to placate? Is he going to be able to appease everybody there? We'll see. I think it's a bad deal for him. I think he could have kept his cushy job in Seattle, but I give him props for trying to take workload on. I give him props for wanting to not take the easy route and just wait it out and hope for a new team and use the excuse that he had a new team. He was a senior advisor in Seattle, and now look at him. He's taking over this big job, and God bless him for doing that. It's a big task ahead of him. We'll see how it goes. Onward and upward to him. More coaching changes as the Ottawa Senators decided not to go with Patrick Waugh or one of their old coaches and pick up Toronto Maple Leafs assistant coach DJ Smith as their head coach. It'll be Smith's first job in the NHL. Why not? A guy who has been known for developing, a guy who has brought up a lot of teams in the OHL and was chosen for the Toronto Maple Leafs role. I think in the Marlies organization first. I don't know. Sorry, he went right to the Maple Leafs to do development there. Oshawa Generals from there won a Memorial Cup with them and won Coach of the Year in 2013-14 with them. So I think overall he is a guy that I think can bring these players about and is able to maybe see the youth movement of this team and possibly get them on the right track, or at least get them steered in the right direction. And then someone else comes in as a finishing coach. Who's to say? But I think it's a right move. It's a guy who's going to have to create his own path, create his own team, and start from scratch. So we'll see how it goes from there. A counterpart of his in Toronto, Sheldon Keefe, has re-signed for a couple more years with the Toronto Marlies as the head coach of the AHL team there. They got ousted in the Final Four. And after winning the Calder Cup last year, and Sheldon Keefe has been a prime example of guys moving up in the Toronto organization. So they want to keep him around long term. Speaking of long term, Don Waddell. Guy never seems to die. Guy always seems to be around. Will stay with the Carolina Hurricanes as president and GM. Shockingly, this thing is happening. Good for him, I suppose. Good for him to keep things going. It worked this year. Can't say shit. It worked this year for him. Got to the conference final. Didn't do too well, but go with the playoffs. It was a very weird playoff. So he's around. The NWHL has struck a deal. Allegedly, I don't know if the Women's Players Association agree with this deal, but the NWHL said they're going to raise the salaries of the players and will do a 50-50 split on sponsor revenue. Now, is this something that is worth will give a living wage to the women hockey players? Who's to say? How much sponsorship can you get? I don't know. Do you know? I don't think anybody knows. So we have to wait and see. Is this enough to get those 200 plus players back on the ice with this league, mind you? Because they said they would be willing to sit out for as long as it took for them to get a living wage. Will this be enough to get them a living wage? Will this be enough without the NWHL welching on this? Because remember, last year salaries were cut in half. Salaries were cut in half mid-season. So that's a scary thing. That this thing could happen instantaneously like that. Whether or not that happens, we'll see. I, for one, hope it does. I still think the NHL, like we said on the Patreon show, I still think the NHL needs to be in there. I still think the NHL needs to be a part of this. I still think the NHL needs to be a marketing factor in the Women's Hockey League triumvirate or triumphantness. I don't know what the word is. They need to be a part of it because a Women's Hockey League independently, can it work? Sure. But if you have independent people trying to pay the bills, that's where it gets rough. The WNBA has the NBA backing behind it. And as you see, the NHL teams that have been associated with the NWHL have pulled out. The Buffalo Sabres, of course, the Puglia family leaving the Buffalo Buttes, and the New Jersey Devils leaving the Metro Riveters. That's not the best look overall to have all your NHL teams and NHL backing kind of leave like that. But maybe that's trying to drive the NHL's point home. Like, you guys should probably come under our umbrella, make it work this way. We can help you out marketing wise and go on from here. We'll see. We shall definitely see how this all pans out for the women. We'll see how this goes and see if we have a league next year that is worth following. If the star players go back to the NWHL because they think they're making a living wage, then perfect. Great. That means they're getting compensated what they need to be, and that women's hockey can be a bigger thing and not come upon scrutiny, I suppose, because whoever's in charge is missing payments. You're missing payments for sticks, missing payments for players, missing payments for whatever. It is damning that the NHL teams did pull out when they did. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. We're only a scant few months before Is It October Yet starts. I'm a liar. We're going to get those Is It October Yet the day after the Stanley Cup. Day after. It's going to happen. Finland won the World Hockey Championship. They bookended their World Hockey Championship, beating Canada by a score of 3-1, both in the first game and in their last game. Big year. Holy crap, a big year for the Finns. World Junior Championship and the World Championship, that's pretty solid for them. Canada wins silver. Russia wins bronze in that. More championship. Rio Noranda, the Huskies, they win their first Memorial Cup as they beat the Halifax Mooseheads in the final game in a battle of the Kumja in the Memorial Cup final. The Calder Cup is set. The Chicago Wolves, former people of the Broadcast Monsters Hockey Network, they will be taking on the Charlotte Checkers. Golden Knights against Carolina Hurricanes there. That's what the affiliations are. You can check it out. Stay on the play-by-play on that. ECHL, the Newfoundland Growlers, they are up 2-0 on the Toledo Walleye as we go to a game 3. Newfoundland, first year in. Could they do the impossible and just win the whole dang thing? We will see. Take some time, though. We're going into, I think, a 2-3-2 situation because Newfoundland's so way the hell and gone. We'll see how it goes. Some issues. Evgeny Kuznetsov. I'm sure you saw the video, and if you haven't, I will document it for you here as we get to the Russian the Russian police beat. Evgeny Kuznetsov was videoed with cocaine in front of him in a Russian hotel in a undocumented time. Sources say that it happened after the Stanley Cup playoffs last season, and that Evgeny Kuznetsov has vehemently denied. And people say, we know his family. Of course he didn't do that. There is no video of him doing cocaine. There's no video of him even close to the cocaine aside from being in a seat that's in front of it. He is not motioning towards the cocaine. In fact, I bet you he didn't even know he was being videotaped because the video itself was very sneaky and only got his face at the latter end before it went to the ground and then subsequently stopped. Not saying it's a setup. Not saying it's blackmailing. I'm not saying he should have been in that room. As a Caps fan, don't be in that situation, Evgeny. You got to be smarter than that. You see that on the thing, you don't think it's talcum powder or lining up to make sure we don't chafe. You go in there, you see that, you instantaneously do a Grandpa Simpson. You walk in, you leave your hat, and you turn back around, grab your hat again, and get out the goddamn door. You don't sit there in front of the damn thing in Russia. Speaking Russian. I'm not saying Russians are sneaky, but there's a reason. The USSR kind of still is in the heads of everybody in terms of espionage. It's still there, ladies and gentlemen. So Evgeny Kuznetsov being in the middle there, Not a good look. Not a great look. The NHL will investigate. The Caps are investigating. Whether they come out with anything, I'm sure the drug test will say one way or the other. But we'll see. There's no, like I said, no video of him doing it. It's just there, and he's there. So who's to say? In other Russian news, an independent arbitrator has said that Slava Voinov is reduced to 41 games for suspension and is able to come back mid-season next year. You can't ban him for life because the Players Association, like they did in this one, will go to an arbitrator. You can't ban him for life because I believe the appeal was... let's see. Was that thing walked back? Because he's able to get back in the States? Like, is that thing walked back? Because... Oh, that's not a K. It's a V, you idiot. Slava Voinov. Let's see how this goes. Suspended the scene, blah, blah, blah. 41 games, da-da-da-da-da. Detention center without bond. I think he was granted dismissal of the misdemeanor domestic abuse in 2018. 3 years probation ended. No contest plea. Allegedly, it never happened. It's dismissed. So what can the NHL do? The NHL can talk hard, but the NHLPA is going to talk harder just for their players, even though he hasn't paid a goddamn dime in about 4 years now. I don't know. I don't know what this is all about. Here's the thing. Who's going to do it? Someone's going to do it. You know someone's going to do it. It's not like the guy's been off. He's been playing. He's been in the KHL. Albeit the numbers have been playing. What team does it first? What team goes for him first? What team goes for him first? I would love that to happen. I would love to see that happen. Oh, boy. We're trying to get Robertson's on. He can't get in. Lyle's trying to get in. Lyle, I'll send you something. Thanks for watching, Lyle. I appreciate you. The Coke is fake. Is he really tripping on acid? Said Eddie, I am not going to deny that. Eddie, I'm not going to deny that. Redirected too many times, clearing cookies. What's happening with Google Hangouts? Why are we getting Google Hangouts messages that are errors? Why am I getting a Hangout message that's an error? Maybe if I email the Lyle Richardson, as I put an ad. If I put an ad. Oh, okay. Hold on, Lyle. Lyle, don't worry about that last message. Lyle, this is the message you need to worry about. Go with the one that starts with W, Lyle. Go with that last one I just sent. Starts with a W. Try that one. Maybe that's the one. Maybe that's the one we go out. See how it goes there. I'll put it in with everybody. Because I'm tired of talking over by myself. Little green people. You mean the Irish, Eddie? You mean the Irish? Is that the green people you mean? Probably right. Probably looking for booze. Probably looking for that sweet, sweet vodka. Even though they don't really drink vodka. They just have the potatoes that make the vodka. It's a situation all its own. Kids liking this. Lyle liked the rant of Kuznetsov. You guys like this? The Amish. Oh, my God. Oh, boy, howdy. Oh, let's see what we can do here for you, Lyle. Let's see what we can do here for you. Let's see if this happens. Oh, there he is. There's your face, Lyle. I'm going to invite you in. Invitation posted. Check your email. Hey, there's Lyle.
Hey.
Hi. How's it going?
hang on. Let me just turn off the lag here because I was listening to you on Facebook on YouTube. There we go.
If you're listening to us on Facebook, that's great. I love that.
That'd be awesome. All by your lonesome this week, are you?
Johnny's in England, so
Oh,
I'm sure he's drunk.
yeah.
He's drunk or asleep.
Oh, probably, yeah. Probably
Oh,
drunk and asleep.
I got a text from Mark saying that he got locked out of his house, so he's going to be a minute. So
how's my vocal levels here? Am I good?
you're fine. You're good.
Check,
You're
check
sounding
one,
good.
check.
Sibylus. No, you sound fantastic as you always do, Lyle. Thank you for
Oh
joining us.
my, yeah, that was well. We got there in the end, thank God. Hey,
We
only
found a
3
way.
minutes after only 3 minutes after my normal. So that's not bad.
Lyle, we started 23 minutes late here because I was drinking. So
wow, there you
these
are.
things happen.
There you are.
These
Well,
things
hey,
happen.
at least we're not Skyping this week anyway. So
I know it's interesting. I was all prepared to see Skype because I tried to start up this thing and it gave me this weird like streaming thing, or if you have a third party streaming thing, and then I'm like, I got to go old school. YouTube is trying to be too hip and fancy for me. I got to kick it back old school. Lyle, we talked about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Or I talked.
You talked about a lot. I caught the
royal we. First off, I have to give your thoughts on Dave Tippett. Boy, that was a. That's first off the fact that it's 8 coaches in the last 10 years. That's amazing.
11 years.
Well, the point is this: that's a lot of coaches in a little time.
A lot of coaches. Yeah. Oh, how do you think it feels to be Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? How many coaches is this for him now? This must be what, 6, 7?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, sweet. No, that I'm amazed that he's playing as well as he has, despite the revolving door of people behind the bench. Good God. Dave Tippett, I like that hire. He has a very good record, both with Dallas and Arizona. He gets results quickly. He can turn franchises around pretty quickly, but he's going to need Ken Holland to fill those glaring roster holes because the goaltending is suspect, to say the least. The defense is still poor. Yes, Darnell Nurse is better. Yes, Clefbaum, when he's healthy, play better. Sounds like Sekera is going to be back and he's healthier. So, okay, that'll help. If those 3 guys can play well, fine. But they're still, oh boy, the other 3.
Is this more of an uphill battle for him than it was in Arizona?
I don't know. It's going to be challenging. It's either way. It's going to be challenging. Now, I think you're right. I mean, right off the bat, I mean, he's not giving anything away. Draisaitl and McDavid are going to play together, and why not?
Sure.
You don't break up one of the most potent 1-2 offensive punches in the league. But they need to get they need more scoring depth, especially on the right side. And Ken Holland's going to have it. I mean, Ken Holland's got his coach. Now comes the busy part. So.
What can he do? Let's be honest. What can he actually do, Ken Holland? Because it seems like he is kind of stuck a little bit.
Well,
that albatross of a Milan Lucic deal looms large.
Yeah. Well, unless you can somehow swap that contract for another bad contract, but really, what's the point? Why rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic?
Yeah.
What's garbage in, garbage out resolves nothing. Well, it really doesn't. I mean, sorry. I'm not saying that Lucic and Eriksson are garbage as people, or that they're garbage as players. Just that their contracts are garbage because they're not playing up to the level that was expected of them when they signed those contracts. Because physically they can't do it anymore. There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking purely from a salary standpoint. Garbage in, garbage out. More hard-hearted fans may feel otherwise. They may say, no, Lau, you were right the first time. I mean, your generalization. Anyway, moving away from that. I haven't been drinking at all. No. It was a nice evening, I'm going to tell you, for a change. For a change. Right? Here.
It's a good time out there.
For a change.
It was 82 degrees out here, Lyle. I don't know what that is in Celsius.
Wow.
But,
That's pushing up towards 30 Celsius.
I was out drinking on the patio. It was great.
That was pretty good. We were out on the deck as well. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Hell, it was so nice this past Saturday when we drove down to visit my folks. We pulled off at a beach and enjoyed it. Enjoyed some time on the beach. Yeah, water was ice cold, but who cares? You were on a beach. It was nice and warm on the beach. There you go. But getting back to Ken Holland, he's this is going to be a big test for him. I think I don't think Lucic is going anywhere, and if you do move him, you're going to have to include some really, a good draft pick or a top prospect in the deal, and even then, boy howdy, I don't think he can move that 4 years. I think it's going to be garbage in, garbage out. That's the only way I think that works. Jesse Puljujärvi, they've got to work his situation out. I think you'll be patient with him. I think they'll want to give him a full, a season under Tippett and see how he performs under that. Plus, I mean, he's also had surgery as well. So
yeah, coming off a hip surgery at that young, that's
yeah,
kind of that's rough.
Well, ask Valeri Nikushkin about that because he hasn't been the same since he underwent that hip surgery in his sophomore season. He really hasn't been the same since, and that's a shame, but that's the reality. Now, does that mean Puljujärvi's facing that sort of thing? Well, no, because Nikushkin's was pretty serious at the time, when it happened, whereas Puljujärvi kind of played through this. So the anticipation is that he'll be ready to go training camp. So I think they're going to want to at least evaluate him and see how he's going to do under Tippett. I think they'll try and trade Chris Russell, to free up some cap room. I mean, he's the shot blocking D man. Maybe on a playoff contender that's looking for some, that type of defenseman. Maybe there's a market for him. Like I said, Lucic, you're going to be stuck with him for a while, And even if you buy him out, I mean, there's no real cap relief from it. So, yeah, what do you do?
Can Holland and Dave Tippett be better than Peter Chiarelli and Todd McClellan?
I don't think they can be much worse.
Fair point.
Yeah. Well, to McClellan though, I don't hang that all on him though. That's he did the best he could with the dog's dinner provided to him by Chiarelli. Chiarelli, you will never GM in this town again. Maybe you'll be staff.
Sure, he'll be the advisor.
Somebody, but
he'll do what Dean Lombardi's doing.
Yeah, but suffice it to say, his reputation took a real hit. From the way he handled the Oilers. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Ken Holland has in store for the for the next 4 to 8 weeks to try and bolster up that roster.
DJ Smith to Ottawa. I like that just because it's a young coach who's good at developing players with a young team that needs a lot of development.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's a good choice. I do. I think that's a good choice. And I mean, he's an assistant in Toronto. And he also has a lot of experience in the AHL level developing young players. So yeah, I agree with you. That's a good hire by the Senators. Again, though it does deprive us of the circus that would have been Patrick Waugh and Eugene Melnick. That would have but some things are just too glorious to happen.
Right, we're too close to it, and that's what happened. I am glad that their defense. They have 5 defensemen at $4.4 million. Just they're good to go on that. They need a couple more defensemen, and they could probably still get under $10 million for all their defensemen. Again, the Bobby Ryan contract is oh boy, that's a fun one, isn't it?
Crap. That's another one. That how you're going to move that? You don't. You suck that one up.
Just you take it and you enjoy it even though you don't like it. Man, if I'm Jason Zucker, how much do I just hate? Just am so unsure of myself right now. The guy who is central around Minnesota's trade rumors was one of the key cogs in this possible Phil Kessel deal. They called about Brock Besser and they laughed him off the phone.
Though I don't blame him for asking.
You gotta ask.
Yeah, at least ask. You know what the answer is going to be, but what the hell?
What's the worst they can say? No. What are they going to do? Man, how as a player, how do you come back to a team like that in training camp and be like, yeah, I'm going to give my all for you guys, even though I'm pretty much out the door first opportunity you get.
You be a professional. That's that's what the professional part is in professional hockey player. You suck it up, and if it comes to that, honestly, I don't think he's going to be with the Minnesota Wild come training camp. He's
for him. I hope
else.
Not. I hope he isn't.
Oh God, of course.
This is like Matt Duchene all over again.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that your management doesn't want you, I mean, sure, and having already seen 3 of your teammates and friends get traded before you. It certainly hasn't been lack of trying on Paul Fenton's part. They almost had a deal with Calgary. It just they just ran out of time. to get it done before the deadline. It wasn't that Calgary didn't want him. It's, unlike, this whole deal with Zucker going to, trying to trade him to Pittsburgh for Phil Kessel. I mean, again, it's not like the Penguins don't want him. The Penguins would love to get Jason Zucker. Are you kidding me? But Phil Kessel put the kibosh on it. They're not on his list of preferred trade destinations. And when Paul Fenton even tried to call him and see if he could convince him, but he doesn't think that they're a playoff or a cup contender. And that, by the way, just as a quick aside, that should put to rest any sort of myth that, well, Phil Kessel's won his championships now, so he'll go anywhere. Doesn't matter now. No, he still wants to win. Okay. Again, one of the many myths. It seems like we're always blowing up Phil Kessel myth. Phil Kessel's out of shape, except when he's the fastest skater in the NHL skills competition. Yeah, But anyway,
he just looks, he's a husky boy.
Yeah,
he just looks thick all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, he's actually in pretty goddamn good shape, and a damn good hockey player to boot. But the Penguins are still interested in Zucker. The Flames, I think, are still interested in him. I can definitely see the Flames revisiting their interest in him, though. But the whole Matthew Tkachuk signing and all that, they're going to have to ship out some salary. Plus, there's also some question about their goaltending. So I'm not really sure about just how warm Brad Treliving of the Flames is going to be towards that. But there's going to be teams interested in Zucker. And as I said, one of them will probably meet, Paul Fenton's asking price. Though, if I can just say, the whole Zucker for Phil Kessel deal, from Minnesota's standpoint, that didn't make any sense to me at all. The three previous guys that Fenton traded, Niederreiter, Coyle, and Granlund, they all got shipped out for younger, cheaper talent, right? So it only stands to reason, okay, well, that's the theme. That's where we're going with this. And then you want to do Zucker for a guy who's, albeit still very talented, but is 4 years older. And, he's not going to be scoring 30 goals a season and 70 points a season forever. So that was very, very puzzling. Very puzzling.
I'm puzzled in general with what the Wild do constantly. Like the Wild in themselves, it's always a team that's perpetually, oh, this is going to be our year. This is it. It never seems to happen.
No.
And let's be honest, they still got 6 more years of this Parise deal.
Well,
and the Suter deal.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of their core guys are, now they're in their mid-30s. I mean, let's not forget, Mikko Koivu is in there, 35, 36 years old now? 36, yeah. Eric Stahl, hey, 34. Stahl, hey, listen, he rejuvenated his career going to Minnesota. I mean, no knock against him. It's not his fault that, the Wild is kind of sucked on toast when it came to the playoffs. But yeah, he's 34. So, making them older again, that just didn't make any sense. If you're going to rebuild. Wild fans, this is the thing that gets me, where teams get this mindset of, well, let's try and rebuild on the fly so we can still be competitive, or else the fans won't come out. And and it's like, just be honest with your fans. We're not stupid. Be honest with them. If the Minnesota Wild fans right now, they're like, no. If you're going to trade Zucker, fine. Bring in a younger, affordable player. Somebody who can be with the team a while and that can grow with the team and improve. Not a guy whose best seasons are soon going to be behind him. That's not changing anything. And it's not going to make them any better. Are they going to be a team that's going to march to the Stanley Cup final if you bring in Felka? And this isn't a knock against Kessel, but they're not a team poised. You know what I mean? They're not a team that's one established scorer away from Stanley Cup glory. They're not. Nope. So that deal makes no sense in that standpoint. It's not a knock against Kessel. It's just the Wild are not the right fit. And I think Kessel was wise to turn that down.
Yes, absolutely. Going into last season, they were tied with the Los Angeles Kings as the oldest team in the league.
There you go.
So that tells you something why they needed to get a little bit younger for this season. Let's talk about the Phil Kessel trade issues. Like, this seems to be a thing that Pittsburgh, I guess, maybe not don't want to go on completely, but it seems that he is going to be the one of the odd men out in a possible rebuild, or at least a revamping of the Pittsburgh Penguins lineup going forward. Where can we see him possibly going? Do we even know what his teams are in terms of his 10-team move list?
Well, okay. Well, it's 8 teams, but he
Is it
might.
8 teams? Okay.
He might broaden it a bit.
Well, his teams in general, like
Yeah.
who are the teams he's willing to go to?
That's the thing. We don't know. There's just a lot of speculation. There's some speculation that the Arizona Coyotes could be on the list because he has a great work relationship with Rick Tocchet going back to Tocchett's days as the Penguins assistant GM during their last 2 Stanley Cup championship seasons. But Elliot Friedman made a very good point where he said he doesn't think they're a fit because the Coyotes will, the Penguins will want a scorer in return, an affordable one, but a scorer nevertheless, younger and more affordable. And the Coyotes were 28th in scoring last year. So now that's not to say they don't have any youngsters there with good potential. Hello, Clayton Keller, Christian Dvorak. There's some kids there that have great potential, but they might not be the kind of fit that Jim Rutherford's looking for. You know what I mean? I think he wants somebody who's probably a little more sort of mid-20-ish, is already kind of established himself as a scorer, not somebody with potential to be one. Mm-hmm. So, this isn't really a rebuild for the Penguins. It's kind of a retool because they want to, Rutherford still thinks he's got enough pieces there that if he can build around them a little more, maybe they still have another shot at a cup. So that's the kind of return they're going to be looking for. But again, Arizona doesn't seem to be a fit in terms of that. Again, unless they're willing to give up guys like Clayton Keller or Christian Dvorak. Florida, I know there was all the rumors about when he was with Toronto in his final season and where he might go. There was speculation that maybe the Florida Panthers could be on the list because he has an off-season home there. But, the Panthers, we know what their needs are, and it's not for more scoring. They need an established, they need a new starting goaltender. They need another top 4 defenseman before they need to go out and get themselves another scoring winger. And if they do go after a scoring winger, supposedly they're hot to trot for Artemi Panarin. So that kind of rules them out. It's kind of hard to say where Kessel would want to go.
Yeah, and I'm sure Canadian teams aren't on the list.
I don't think so. No, I don't think
so. That would put out Vancouver, which I think
who aren't a cup contender, so
right? Who aren't a cup contender, but I think for the next 2, they could build around them for year 1 and then 2 and 3.
They've already got the young core that they want to build around. So
good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
In all honesty, there's not many places. Man, if Florida gets him and Panarin, oh baby, load
but then
up.
you can't. But then you don't have goaltending or defense, so you better be able to fill it. A lot of 10-7 games. Yahoo!
Exactly.
Oilers
Let's
hockey.
Fucking play bandwagon or fire wagon hockey. Come on.
A lot of 8-7 hockey games.
They're getting the old boys out of there. Let's put the old boys in Florida and retire them.
That's one thing Ken Holland's doing, isn't he? I mean, Craig McTavish left. He walked rather than get pushed.
Yeah. Coffee got pushed.
Yeah. Oh. Mm-hmm. And Dwayne Sutter got his walking papers last week. And that firing not firing.
Dismissal.
Dismissal was justified because he got
that's not great.
The reviews the reviews of his tenure were not stellar. Let's say no,
not great whatsoever. So
no.
There you go. Erik Karlsson made some comments on the Twitter because we all know that's where the news source is in life. It seems that his time in San Jose could be over. At least that's what it seemed to be for some people. Is he out of San Jose? Like, was that time with the Sharks very, very slim? Was that just a passing glance? Is he on to the next one?
Well, I mean, he didn't give any. I mean, he thanked the organization, thanked his teammates, thanked the fans, but he didn't sound like somebody who's going to be back.
No,
and I think I think that's kind of the direction that I think kind of mutually there, because you got to remember at the start of the season, soon after Doug Wilson acquired Erik Karlsson, he was definitely talking about, oh yes, long-term deal, sure, the longer the better, 8 years if we, Then by the trade deadline, I mean, something seemed to be up when we got to the trade deadline, and now all that contract, extension talk got pushed to the back burner, and we didn't hear anything about it since. So I think he's gone. Where he's going, perhaps back to the Eastern Conference. Our boy Greg Wyshynski saying, hey, maybe Carlson might want to hook up with Henrik Lundqvist there with the Rangers, and then the Rangers do need a top top two defenseman because Kevin Shattenkirk just ain't happening.
What?
So, yeah, I know, right? Not like
Go
any of us
on,
saw
Lyle.
that coming.
Tell me more things I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you another one, and this one, according to Elliot Friedman, apparently maybe Carlson's hoping that the Lightning will try and take a run at him this summer, but I don't see how that's even possible. 74 mil committed to 17 players. Braden Point coming off, was it 94 points or 92 points? Anyway, it's over 90 points.
Yeah.
It's over 90 points, I mean, he's going to get paid. And now he won't get paid like Mitch Marner will get paid because Braden Point plays in a place where there's no state tax. That's why. See all. But as an aside, all those years we thought Steve Yzerman's a wizard. He's able to get these guys to sign for less than market value. He's a genius. And we all forgot. No, Florida has no state tax. So 8.5 mil a season to Steven Stamkos is 8.5 mil per season to Steven Stamkos.
It's straight cash, homie.
Whereas Mitch Marner, of course, he wants 11 mil a season because after those Ontario taxes are done, he'll see maybe 8 million.
That'll be 8.5. Yeah,
yeah, there's your 8.5 million.
Braden Point, but for continuity purposes, 41 goals, 92 points.
Ding, ding, ding. He is going to get paid. There's 8 mil. Yep. Unless they can turn around and turn around and try and convince him like they did with Kuznetsov a few years ago. Look, take the bridge deal that's more affordable for 2 years while we go run out and try and get Erik Karlsson, and then we promise you, guarantee you will get a bigger, better deal after the fact. But
here's the fucking problem, Lyle.
Yeah. I know. Bring it. I know. Go ahead.
I'm looking at this. Even with a fucking bridge deal, they still got like 6 guys under contract through 21-22, and it's all big money guys. Kucherov, Stamkos, Palat, and everyone except Kucherov has a no move or no trade. Oh boy!
And don't forget, they also got to sign their starting goalie Vasilevsky. Now
that arbitration.
Yeah, now that contract kicks in next summer, so it's not something you have to worry about now. But they can turn around and
you got to figure they want a deal done sooner rather than later.
Oh boy, yeah,
like in a big way.
This guy's a two-time Vezina Trophy. Oh, I did it 3 times.
I was gonna say,
yeah, two-time Vezina Trophy finalist. Could win it this year, but I don't think so.
Oh yeah, you think it's what's his name, Lehner?
Between Lehner and Bishop, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
And Bishop had a hell of a year.
Yeah, absolutely he did. Under the radar too. And that's where I think maybe, just maybe, Erik Karlsson lands in a low star state, another no tax state. Another place that could possibly need defense, but not necessarily.
No. Actually, Karlsson's not a fit there. Esa Lindell, John Klingberg.
Sure. A lot of guys
Miro
already like that.
They're fine. They are totally fine on defense. They need help up front.
They also
that's what they need.
I forgot Steven Johns is still on this team as well.
Yeah, he just missed all last season with injury. Yeah. But they're on defense, they're fine. That defense is just getting better.
I convert him to a right winger. Who gives a shit?
That blue line's getting better all the time, though. But yeah, they need help up front. But in order to be able to pull this off, now Joe Smith of The Athletic, who used to cover the Lightning for the Tampa Bay Times,
who asked it, what's his name? Didn't he get rid of Erik Erlichson as well? No. Didn't he replace when the merger happened?
No. I don't know if that's what it was, but it wasn't his fault that Erlichson.
Oh, I know it's not his fault. I'm just saying he's the guy who
I think he wound up being the Tampa Bay Times full-time beat writer.
After they merged, and then Erlichson just got pushed out.
Yeah, and Erlisson's actually doing all right for himself, though. He's got his own doing his own Lightning coverage there. He's been doing that for the last 2 years, and evidently from what I've heard, he's doing all right with it. So well done
Good for
him.
him. I'm glad for
Yeah,
him.
seriously. I mean, well, we met Eric and briefly in Montreal. Nice guy.
Yeah,
Good guy.
good
I
fella.
conversed with him a few times after that. He's good guy. But anyway, Joe Smith was saying that maybe if they can trade away Ryan Callahan and JT Miller, that would free up over 11 million bucks, so that maybe they might be able to make the dollars fit. But I still think that's a bridge too far.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I really honestly do. Even if to throw in to go with that bridge theme, if you could get Point to accept a bridge contract for less money for 2 years, so they can go after Carlson. Even if you get Carlson for a couple of years, maybe if you do it that way, I guess maybe perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's a bridge too far.
Mm-hmm.
I just no, too tight.
So if you're scoring at home or if you're alone, places with 0% tax rate.
Giver.
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Tampa and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Texas, the
Dallas
Stars.
Yeah.
Nashville, the Predators.
Yep.
Las Vegas, Golden Knights.
Golden Knights.
And Seattle, the Your Name Hears.
The Kraken, the Grunge, the Totem.
The Totems, yes. And then after that, when we get to that, Pennsylvania, 3.07. Illinois, 3.7. Then you get to, I guess this is Colorado, 4.63. Arizona, 4.54. And then you get the Michigan, 4.25. And Ohio, 5.0 even.
Are those the highest ones?
These are just the ones that have. I'm looking at hockey graphs, and this is ones they list.
Okay.
Because it's all they take into account all the hockey states. It seems like,
okay.
Minus Canada, because Canada's in and of itself weird.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Well, we're a different country, dude. You know that. You lived here.
I lived there. So Canada, the Quebec has the highest.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a big reason why Montreal has trouble attracting. Free
Quebec,
agents.
Manitoba is about 17%. It looks like British Columbia at 16%. British Columbia at just 16%. Alberta, it looks like 14%. Ontario, actually the lowest at 12%.
Hey, and then universal health care costs money, man.
And then federal is about 32%.
Yep.
So, you got that going for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point now, you have to wonder if the Vegas rumors that happened when he was being courted by the and Ottawa Senators could be a thing.
Wait, Carlson to the Golden Knights?
Carlson to the Golden Knights?
No, there's no room.
Let me dream.
They are all. Oh, it would be great. I know, but that kind of got that the door got permanently closed on that when they signed Mark Stone. And by the way, can I just say,
great World Championship,
great playoffs, great season, great season. And I actually just wrote about that and featured today. They've got themselves a late blooming superstar there, I believe. In fact,
I think so.
In fact, his breakout season, real breakout season, not that he hasn't had good seasons. God, he's had terrific seasons. But, I mean, last year he was well on pace to exceed, 70 points last season, and then he got injured.
Right.
But this season, I mean, my God, he just had a hell of a run. I mean, 30 goals, 73 points. And he just tore it up in the playoffs for the Golden Knights. I mean, when the first round ended, he was the leading scorer. Oh, he led all playoff scorers with 12 points when that first round ended. It was him and Max Pacioretty who was had 11 points. But then goes to the World's tournament MVP. I mean, he was the leading goal scorer there with 8 goals. I'm telling you, remember how surprised everybody was when the Golden Knights very quickly, signed him for 8 years, 9.5 mil. Why does that already look like money well spent?
Oh yeah,
already, and he's 27. I know there's a bit of a risk there going for that long and giving him that much money that, maybe in the latter 4 years of the deal, given his style of play, that maybe it'll take a toll and his performance will decline, but maybe he'll be like Patrice Bergeron, 33 years old, still an elite player. Once again, a finalist for the Selke along with Stone. So, if they can get 4 good years out of him at his current level of play, it'll be money well worth it.
I absolutely think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, even 3 good years, I would say. And then it's just like, yep, no, this is good. We spent this well, because at that point, it'll probably be a moderate contract depending upon how the salary cap rises with Seattle coming in. So,
and may I also say too, again, just very quickly, CBA looking positive. According to Bill Daly, sit there
and he's the most negative guy of them.
No, Bill Daly's the good cop to Gary Bettman's bad cop in the negotiations. That's how they do this. Yeah, Daly does the legwork, and then Bettman comes in and shits all over everything.
That's fine.
Yeah, but honestly though, but during the press compressor there with Bettman and Daly before Game 1 of your Stanley Cup final, Daly said that negotiations with the Players Association have been ongoing. They've been going on for some time. They're going to continue through the summer. The attitude or the feeling around the league among a lot of the pundits is that the league isn't picking a fight this time. They're not looking for a fight. For once, they're quite happy the way things are going. The players, they don't want to fight either, but there's going to have to be some give backs.
They want their fair share now. Like, they've given and given. Now it's time.
Now it's time for the one thing I think that will ensure labor peace is they're going to have to, I think, reduce the escrow payments. Now, they're going to have to find some way to offset that. But if you can reduce the escrow payments so that they're under 10% every season, that they don't go any higher than, say, 8 or 9%, because right now they can hit sometimes as high as 16%, I think the players would be happy with that. That's the biggest bee in their bonnet, the biggest burr in the saddle, and other cliched statements for irritations. It's that. And if that can be addressed, everything else will be smooth sailing. I know what about the Olympics? Well, what about the Olympics?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go, maybe they won't. I don't think that's the hill the players want to die on, is Olympic participation. But yeah, if they can take care of that escrow situation, I think we could be looking, being cautiously optimistic for the first time when talking about CBA negotiation, we could be looking at an extension in September.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, are you kidding me? That'd be fucking fantastic.
Oh,
that'd be awesome.
That means then we wouldn't have to make up fucking shows.
Yeah, that means all the money I'm trying to bank as a lockout fund I can now use for like genuine things like
big stand in August.
The 2020. Big stand. Oh, definitely. Some of that is going to the big stand next year. If that happens, big stand's happening next year. I'm going. I'm coming. I am going.
We will fucking.
We are making it happen. We're making it happen this time. Yeah.
We have enough time now to find sponsors that will deny us. We will find people who make us stuff they don't follow through on.
Let me tell you, I did not wake up the next day and think, oh geez, why did I say that? Oh God, I was just like, the more I thought about it, the more excited I got about this. I'm like, I'm looking forward to this.
The fact that it's so far out, I think, helps too. The fact that we're a year plus, we're about, if I can do the math right, Lyle, 20-some months away.
Listen, I'm taking a risk doing this too. You got to remember, because we could still be looking at the labor war in September of next year, in which case I'm still going to do the big stand thing in August, because I'm going to want to have something to give me a bit of joy to make me forget my troubles. So
have it carry on until November when Wyclef comes back. That'd be great.
But anyway, no, it's some cautious optimism. It's been that way, I've noticed, since around last November, at least among the punditry, that a lot of the stuff that both sides are saying, spokesmen on both sides, from the players and from the league, a lot of it has just keeps sounding positive. There's that cautious optimism. I think the big thing is that Bettman doesn't want lockouts to keep being a legacy. You know what I mean? He's already got 3 under his belt. I don't think he wants a 4th. I don't think the owners want it now. And I really think the players listen. Even with the 3-tier cap, even with everything, even with the friggin' escrow, they're still doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
They're still doing all right. So all you need is just a few tweaks. You don't need another major change or an overhaul or anything. A couple of tweaks, and I think we're good. So
everybody's having a good time. What are we doing with this? Why are we trying to make things harder on ourselves?
Don't stop me now. I'm having a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now.
The money train is a happening.
Oh, yeah. Doot, doot. There it is. What's that come down the track?
Oh,
That's
my
the money
God.
train.
We're
Look,
going to
you
have
can
to
already
sit
see
there.
it.
We're sitting there as we have to wait for this thing to cross where everyone's making the monies.
Mm.
Yeah. Why stop? Why are we stopping now? And then you have to wonder if the Women's Hockey League will be hockey-related revenue, too, and that's just a whole new scenario. Anyway.
Well, listen, that's something, though, honestly, NHL, get off your ass. You can send a few shekels to women's hockey. More than $100,000 a year. Give me a friggin' break.
But
now, come on.
But again, Lyle, it's a business. They're not taking any kind of thing
I understand that. I'm not saying they have to be a charity, that they have to float them.
Let's look at it this way, too. If Danny Ryland is not taking this money either, if she believes she can make this on her own with the advocates that she has, are you going to force money on someone who's not going to take the money because they have a thing saying we can make it on our own?
Listen, if they believe they can make it on their own, then fine. The NHL has no obligation in that regard then. If they believe they can make it without the NHL's help, no, of course. Of course, they shouldn't. They shouldn't be saying, "Look, we know you say Gary Bettman shouldn't be sitting there." And I'm going to do now my imitation of Greg Wyshynski imitating Gary Bettman. Listen, just because you think you can make it on your own doesn't mean you should turn down this money we're giving you.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, that's fine that you think you can do it on your own, but we're going to keep giving you the money anyway. It's not going to happen like that. Of course not. If they think they can do it on their own, and I hope they can. God, more power to them. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But if it reaches a stage where they can't, or they need some help, a leg up, then I definitely think the league should get involved in it that way. Again, they shouldn't be taking over the league and floating it. Of course not. But if they, if you can give them a little bumpsy there, you don't have to, geez, would it really crush you to give them $1 million? Really? Would that really be that much of a dent in your overall revenues? What were the NHL's revenue last year, Scotty? What was
at least $40.
Okay, well, I may want to rethink this 100,000 or this million thing. Yeah,
at least they've made at least $40, Lyle. I'm sure in the billions.
NHL revenue 2018-19. Let's see if they give me something for that. Probably not.
Well,
I don't
probably
think
17-18.
I don't think they have the projected revenues for this season. $4.54 billion.
That's with a B.
That's baby. We for the billions. Yeah, they could actually be higher.
But
so that number was projected back January 2018. I wouldn't be surprised if that's bumping up against $5 million.
I'm sure it has.
So,
but
$5 billion.
If I'm I know, right? Way to undercut them, Lyle. If I may,
you may.
If I'm the NHL and I'm Gary Bettman and his minions,
you would be a very attractive man, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means the world to me.
I know.
Wouldn't you want to have total wouldn't you want to be Hulk Hogan in WCW in the late 90s? Total creative control. Right? You're playing a weight belt every time. You're poking guys with a finger and you're winning a title.
That's still you had to bring up the
finger poke of doom.
The finger poke of death. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But I mean, wouldn't you, if you're the NHL, wouldn't you want to? And I said this in the Patreon that people can get if they pay $5 a month to help support us, and you're supporting yourself too. If you have the NHL, the women take a year off, they go throughout the country and travel around, and everyone gets to know these household names outside the Olympics. It's not every 4 years now, and then they go into this league that has the NHL power behind it. If I'm the NHL, I want to create my own league. If I'm the NHL, I want to get the star power. I want to get everything going. And it's and the fact that NHL teams are pulling out of the NWHL, it's kind of damning, I think, in general.
Yeah.
So I think if you're the NHL, while it's nice, it's great to give $1 million. But what if you could own it give a lot of $1 million, and then come in with some $1 million too.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's might be where it might end up going.
And I think it should, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a situation where if I'm the NHL, I want control. I want my marketing behind it. I want everything behind it to be successful for hockey. Because if the women's league is successful, the men's teams can get money with it too, and we can intertwine. Lyle, business calls it synergy.
Synergy, my friend.
We can synergize the hockeys.
And I think that's what he's. And I think that. And listen, that on a business standpoint, absolutely, that's the way to go. So maybe that's the way it's going to be. I mean, obviously, this is going to need to take some time to shake out. I think the next couple of years will give us a better idea of where the status of women's professional hockey is and the NHL's role in it. So
I enjoy the idea. That the NHL or the NWHL and Danny Riley want to go ahead and have it themselves. And I understand it.
And God knows I'll be pulling for them if they can pull it. I would love to see them pull it off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lyle, I think we want to rephrase that. Phrasing on women pulling it
off.
off.
For heaven's sake. That's where your mind went. That's your problem. That is your problem.
Listen, hold on. My mind went at work today. We were talking about making strawberry pies and macerating the strawberries. And I didn't hear macerating. And then my boss went to the definition of macerating, where you put sugar on it and the juices seep out and it gets soft. And I'm just like, yeah, no, that's like the other term.
Boo words. Actually, that's pretty good. I know, right? Listen, we're men. Our minds are going to go to disgusting places. Is what we do. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, ladies. It's.
By the way, I just got a Vox from Mark. He just finished up, so he doesn't think there's a point in coming on.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
That's fine. But he also made the Orb said the Orb says the Bruins. However, we picked last week. So I don't know if he remembers the shows when he does them. I don't know if he thinks, because we picked, it was Bruins against Western Conference, I think, and then because the Western Conference wrapped up Tuesday, didn't it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's right. And we did Bruce. Yes, I'll have another. Thank you. Yes. We did Bruins and Blues last Wednesday.
He forgot and gave me a screenshot of what the Orb said. And I'm like, well, we already did this. You're a little.
And I think three of us, me and two being inanimate objects, picked Bruins, and one of them picked Blues. Did they not?
You were the only one who picked Bruins.
Well, who's looking like a freaking genius now?
Well, the inanimate objects in the first period. That's for damn sure.
No, it's 2-1 Bruins right now.
Is it? I'm not watching the game. Yeah. I've been doing a show.
A hockey show, but a show.
I've been doing a show, and then the TV's right next to me, and I just don't feel like turning it on because I can't cock my head this way and make it play on YouTube that well. We have people. Any idea? Oh, okay. Chris has a question, and I apologize for not looking at the chat earlier. Does Dallas need a Phil Kessel type player?
Yeah. I think Dallas would be a good fit for them, but again. The Penguins would want to, again, as I said before, a younger, more affordable scorer. I think in return. So that's getting that deal. One of my readers actually went a few days ago when I was, writing about this, and they made the point that maybe a third team needs to get involved in this to make it work. Perhaps. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen this late in the last couple of years.
Hey, how does that retained salary work still? Is that like the Toronto Maple Leafs still retain the salary for
the Toronto Maple Leafs will hold 1.2 mil per season cap hit
regardless where he goes.
Regardless of where he goes, that's what they hang on to. The Penguins only own 6.8. So let's say they move Kessel and they were to retain 1.8 million of it to make it an even 5 going to the other team, right? Sure. That's how that would work. Okay. But the I don't think Rutherford is interested in retaining salary. No. I think he wants Kessel's salary off the books and would prefer bringing in a younger, more affordable score. And by the way, can I just say as well,
Sure.
some of the other pieces who were rumored to be part of that, because it wasn't going to be Kessel for Zucker straight up. Oh, no. Joining Zucker was going to be Victor Rask, former two-time 40-point scorer with the Hurricanes, who's just, he had a horrible season this year that started with him almost slicing his freaking thumb off in training camp. And then but the one that made me just go, oh, was the addition of Jack Johnson in that deal with Kessel. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, there's the deal breaker right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the freaking deal breaker.
Boy, did they sour on him fast.
And one of my readers said, well, how's that a deal breaker? I mean, it's a very reasonable cap hit. It's less than 3.5 mil. And I'm like, yeah, for 4 more years for a 30-something defenseman who can't even be trusted now to even play even a third pairing role.
No,
and do you really want to have that on your books? No, I don't care. 3.5 mil for 4 more years per season.
It's not great. It's not
a great deal.
No. It's not a great deal.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Believe me, there were a lot of Wild fans who were breathing a sigh of relief when they heard that Kessel rejected the deal.
I'm sure they did. Right?
Immediately followed by, what is Fenton thinking? Like,
he's not. The Minnesota Wild are just, like I said, they just churn their wheels constantly.
And but remember, Fenton was supposed to be different. Remember, he was supposed to be, first of all, out of that whole this whole thing,
the David Poile system.
Yeah, it was supposed to be different, right? He was supposed to come at this thing with a different outlook. Wasn't going to get into this, okay, we're going to try and rebuild on the fly stuff. Not going to go run out and throw a ton of money at expensive veterans. We're going to build up with younger talent. And initially, that seemed to be the path he was on, And I mean, now need a writer for Rask, okay. For the first, for this season, the Hurricanes win that deal, But again, Rask had that injury that sidelined him for half the season. Maybe he gets a chance to come back, and maybe he'll regain that 40-point form. Okay. So I'm not ready to just totally write that one off yet. Charlie Coyle for Ryan Donato. Listen, I think that worked out well, I think, for the Wild. I mean, yes, Coyle worked out well for the Bruins, obviously. Look where they are right now. And he's played a role in that, obviously. But Ryan Donato played very well for them. He did. I know. Down the final few weeks there, his offense started to dry up a bit, but I think that's going to be a good addition. I think the kid's going to be fine there. Granlund for Fiala. Yeah, Granlund was the more well-known player, but he did not play well with the Predators at all. I was very surprised about that. Fiala still has upside. I think the kid's 22? 21, 22?
Sounds right, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't, wash my hands of him either. I mean, give him a chance. Let's, I say give Rask a chance, give him another season. Definitely going to give Fiala a chance. And Donato showed a lot of promise. So those deals could still work out, for Fenton.
Fiala could be, is going to be 23 in the summer. And then he is also an RFA. So,
yeah. But it'll be a very affordable re-signing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of RFAs, Lyle, I would be remiss if I did not mention the wonderfulness that is Mitch Marner. I would be remiss if we went this whole show without mentioning Mitch Marner.
You say, as Vanessa Williams say, you saved the best for last, my friend.
Oh, please.
There's a deep 90s draw. Oh, boy. Anyway.
Whew. That's a good
liked her, though. I liked her. Yeah.
26 goals, 94 points in his sophomore season. If you believe in the plus-minus...
No, that's his third season. This was his third season.
Sophomore third season.
Yeah.
60 points all 3 of his seasons. Let's put it that way.
Oh, God, yeah.
If you believe in plus-minus, a plus 22, and you all should. Let's put it
fancy stats into this now.
Let's put it career-wise. 224 points in 241 games, including 17 points in 20 playoff games.
The kid is for real.
The kid is the realness. How much, Lyle? How much are we going to see Mitch Marner get offer sheeted for. Because that's going to happen.
Oh boy!
If there was a
Oh,
time
boy.
and place in our lifetime to be offer sheeted and have a barn fight, it is here and it is now.
Now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Darren Dreger definitely stirred up the hornet's nest there yesterday. Oh wow, wow! But
Gonna start talking to teams June 26th.
yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my! And he can sign an offer sheet on at 12:01 on July 1st, just afternoon, 1 minute afternoon, kids. Let the joy bells ring. Yeah, that one's going to be interesting. First of all, he's worth 11 mil a season.
Yep, absolutely.
He's definitely worth. And this is the thing that just absolutely kills me about not all Leafs fans, but some Leafs fans. You know, they say, "Oh yeah, it was fine for them to run out and blow 11 mil a season on John Tavares." And I'm not blaming John Tavares, by the way. Hell, hey,
take your money.
Your hometown team is saying, "Shut up and take my money." Sure, and he played very well for them. Okay, so you invested 11 mil a season in him. You then turn around and invested 11 mil a season, a little over 11 mil a season in Auston Matthews. Understandable, of course. But then you turn around and you say that the guy who has led your team in scoring the last 2 years, who is every bit as talented, I think, as Auston Matthews right now at this stage. I know, sacrilege. Sorry, prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong. Look at the stats. Compare them. Okay. Sorry. Right? Why does Auston Matthews, yeah, he gets 11 mil a season, sure. Why should Mitch Marner, accept 7 mil and be glad to get it because he's going to be he should be taking a hometown discount? Are you freaking kidding me? For a guy who scored 94 points this season. When was the last Leaf to score? Matt Sundin never scored 94 points. Okay? The last Leaf to reach 94 points or exceed 90 points, correct me if I'm wrong, Doug Gilmour? Dougie Gilmour, I think it was.
That sounds right.
25 years? Yeah, 25 freaking years ago. And you guys have the gall to sit down and say that Mitch Marner should take, 8 mil a season or 7 mil a season? Or that he's not worth at least 10 mil a season? Are you mad? God, what planet are you people on? Smarten up. I mean, come on.
The last Leaf to eclipse 90 points a season was in fact Matt Sundin, 1996 and 97.
With who?
Not with the Leafs, 94 points.
Are you serious?
I am legit.
Oh, okay, all right, then I stand corrected. I didn't think that he had reached 90. That he reached 90 points with them. Good for him that he did. Well done.
Yep.
Okay. So
he had as many points as Mitch Marner.
Yeah. So the last guy to do it did it 22 years ago. Okay.
Well, the last guy to do it that high, it only goes to 10, and Mitch Marner just gets in that last 10 point. He's top 10 in the Maple Leafs history. He is now top 10 in points for a single season.
Yeah. So why should he have to accept less money? He's not, and I love the ones who say he's not even worth 10 mil a season. Oh my freaking God. Will you just shut up? That is the stupidest thing I've heard. A guy hits 94 points. He's your leading scorer 2 years in a row. Oh, he never would have been a leading scorer if Auston Matthews hadn't gotten hurt. Yeah, but Auston Matthews got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah,
Did Mitch Marner get hurt? No, he didn't. Could it be this wiry little kid is actually, maybe he's better suited for this league than Auston Matthews physically? Who knows? Who can say? All I know is, hey, Mitch Marner ain't the guy who's missed 20 games in a season and 16 in another one. Okay.
Yeah. Is Paul Fenton an analytics guy? Well, that's being asked as well. I'm not sure.
Well, just listen, to some degree, but GMs nowadays, to various degrees, they do analytics. Yeah.
But is he over the top end of the analytics? I guess
I don't think he is a big analyst. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I haven't really heard he's not into it like Kyle Dubas with the. I mean, guys like that, they're like right into them. I don't think Fenton is. That's not to say that he doesn't pay attention to them, but yeah, I don't think he's a big, for lack of a better phrase, an analytics nerd.
Yeah.
And
He's not
that's
a
not an
dweeb.
insult to him. Yeah.
I think it is a little.
You would, but yeah.
Of course.
Analytics nerds wear that
Fucking
proudly. They all have T-shirts.
Get your math out of my sports, nerd. Get your pocket protector out of here. Listen, we got headshots to fucking watch and love. I don't need time for your math. They're not gonna be able to do math afterwards. What else do I have here? Oh, Brock Nelson signing an extension, 6-year, 36. That's interesting. Seems a little rich, but hey, good for him.
Yeah, that's a little more expensive and for a little longer than I expected. But
he is now the highest paid Islander right now.
Until Anders Lee gets his contract.
Absolutely.
Lamoriello doesn't want to give him more than 4 years, so I think he'll probably go 7.2, 7.5 mil, 4 years. I think Anders Lee would take that.
Yeah, I think he'll take that.
I think he'll take it.
And again, we throw the New York tax into it. Nelson's probably making 4.5 after all the taxes.
Yeah.
So there's that. One thing Gary Bettman did say, they're possibly looking at the reviews.
Oh, they're going
reviewing
to.
Everything.
There's no possibly. They're going to.
And the first time I agree with Brad Marchand is saying the ref's getting a raw deal right now. And I can't agree or disagree, but I think that they are on a shorter leash than they have been in the years past.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I mean, look, some of this some of this stuff's, the refs are partially at fault for. They are to a degree to blame for a lot of this that's being heaped up on their shoulders right now. When you miss calls and or when play happen right in front of you and you don't call them. And come on, that's not an excuse. But when you miss like the puck going up into the netting and and then afterwards there's a goal, or you miss a hand pass, well, okay, that's something that perhaps would help if you had, like they said, a sort of Don Cherry made a great suggestion. Yeah, he's still capable of them. That you have sort of like an off ice official or a couple of them, that can talk directly to the on ice officials and say, whoa, got to have to review this, got to review it, That sort of thing.
Like I pitched, 3 guys on the ice, the 4th referee is up in the stands.
Yeah, that would be fine, because going the 4 referee system is supposedly more eyes on the ice was supposed to catch more of the calls, and it hasn't. So go back to 3, and have the eye in the sky, and
everyone's mic'd up.
Yeah, exactly. But it is going to happen. But I also agree with Bettman that the ship has sailed regarding get rid of all video review. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, no, we're stuck with
that shit. Well, because video review actually has done a lot of good. It is overturned quite goals that obviously weren't goals or proved they were goals and so on. The thing that gets me is I think they're going to have to corral the coaches though about the coaches challenge, because some of that, especially in some of the offside calls, is absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I cite as one example Mike Babcock calling doing a coach's challenge on Ryan Paling's first ever NHL goal. Ryan
that one. Yeah.
And that was such a horseshit call. Everybody knew it was, and even Steve Dangle, the Maple Leaf super fan, was sitting there going, "Really, Mike? Really? Come on, in a nothing game, really? You're going to do that to the kid? Come on." That was kind of garbage.
Yeah.
So I think they need to rein in some of the coaches here a bit for some of these challenges, because some of them are pretty chintzy.
Absolutely. Lyle, I went to Winnipeg this weekend.
I saw.
Got myself a white puck.
There you are.
It was great, and of course the coup de grace.
What are you going to torment me with now, bud?
Little Pokey and the Bandit.
Oh yes,
is what we're doing here.
I saw the picture of that.
Weekend.
Fantastic.
It's great. It's going to be mounted and put on my wall.
That is beautiful.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
And then Lyle, I don't know if you remember this. I don't know if you were around. I'm sure you were. 1985, 86. What do you remember about 1985, Lyle?
What I remember about 1985, 86?
Yeah.
Montreal Canadiens won the Stanley Cup that year. The Edmonton Oilers got bounced out in shocking fashion on Steve Smith scoring in his own net. In other words, I remember that season.
Sure. Do you remember 7-Eleven's promotions, Lyle?
We didn't have 7-Eleven up here in Canada at that time.
Well, how did I get these fucking cards?
No. Well, not in all Canadian. They weren't east of Toronto at that point.
Okay.
I was still living in the Maritimes then. So
I was gonna say 1985-86 7-Eleven cards, my friend. Little 7-Eleven ski. Where it had two of the players on there. Let me get to your boys right here. Little Larry Robinson, a little Guy Carbonneau there.
My God, look at how uncarved that face looks now.
Yeah, right. Look how it looks fantastic. It looks like he did less blade jobs than anyone else in wrestling. But it's got all 20-something teams. And of course, the best mustaches, you have to say, go to the Washington Capitals and Rod Langway and Mike Gartner.
Absolutely. Best porn stashes.
And of course, this goes with a little bit of young Mario. A little young Mario.
Hey. Look at that baby
and of
face.
course, nighttime Canadian talk show host Mike Bullard. Amazing.
No, wrong.
What?
No. That's the different Mike Bullard. Different.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah. Different Mike Bullard.
Well, I've been lied to my entire life.
Yeah. The Mike Bullard who played hockey is actually talented.
Oh, you're not wrong. But I do like Tom Barrasso's little this would be considered like a Tinder. That's a Tinder profile,
or maybe the Tiger Beat pose. You know?
Yeah, a little, and it's behind the netting. Why is it not focusing? It doesn't want to show his sexiness. Is that the problem?
I get it's too sexy.
It's too sexy.
It's too sexy for your screen.
This camera's garbage
for your screen.
Yeah, Lyle, what do you think about the Stanley Cup Final? We're now 2-2 in the game.
Well, this one's entertaining. Looks like the Blues have decided to come and play this time, even though they were leading 2-0 in
Game one.
But they were still being outplayed. That was even the St. Louis media was going, they were lucky to be up 2-0 in that. Yeah. But definitely looks like they've come to play tonight, both teams. So,
well, I think they finally got that feeling. Well, I mean, you remember Game 1 of last year, where it was just a gong show of a game and just scoring, and the feeling out period happened, and now we're good to go.
Yeah. Well, both teams had kind of a long layoff, especially the Bruins. Yeah.
And then, of course, they don't go with the dichotomy where a team that sweeps a team that has a long layoff gets swept. Yeah. So they didn't go with that gimmick.
Exactly. And can I say Torrey Krug's hit on Robert Thomas?
Beautiful.
Oh man, old school hockey without the helmet to boot. That was not charging. I'm sorry, it wasn't charging. He had stopped. He was pretty much gliding into the guy at that point. Now, you say, well, he targeted him all the way up the ice. No, because the guy who had stripped the helmet off his head was David Perron. Those are the guys. That was the guy who was tangled. It wasn't Robert Thomas. It was David Perron. Yep. So to say that, he targeted him all the way down the ice. No, he wasn't looking at him. You know, if it was targeted, it would have been Perron, and then maybe you might have had the case. That's where the penalty should have been. Should have been coincidental minors on both of them for that wrestling match they had in front of the. It
should have never gotten that far down the ice.
No, it shouldn't have. And then he strips the helmet off his head. Well, I could see where Torrey Krug could be fired up then. If somebody yanks the helmet off your head like that,
absolutely,
you're just going to be like, I'm going to hit the first thing that's wearing a winged bee, a blue note rather.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything that's wearing a blue note, I'm hitting. It was just like, Robert Thomas, your time in the barrel. Boom.
Exactly. But your time, bitch.
Shoulder to shoulder, clean hit. Nothing wrong with that. Nope. Nothing wrong with that at all. That was not charging.
No, it seemed great. It was a good hit. It was an old school hit.
Yep.
It was one of those things where you get out of your seat and just run around like it was Def Comedy Jam and Bruce was on stage. It's one of those things. Americans will get that.
I'll take your word on that one. But by the way, that might be the last time we get to see stuff like that. A player still playing without his helmet, because that's gonna disappear. Now, if a player loses his helmet, you got to come off the ice, or going to be whistled down.
Which is the right move, in all honesty.
Yeah. If you're gonna do that when a goalie loses his mask, you got to do it when a player loses his helmet.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else, Lyle? First off, I want to say while we're on here, thank you. AJ was a guy said that the job I did filling up the air and doing tech support was impressive. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate that.
Yes. If I had my apologies for not realizing you were going to be on the air by yourself. I would have hopped on earlier if I.
That's fine. I didn't know that until when I was at 3 drinks in. I thought Mark would have hopped on 30 minutes on. We would have been fine. It's all right. I'm able to do this.
You did a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir. And to answer Chris, yeah, that's a Hartford Whalers little banner behind me.
Oh yeah,
right over there, over yonder, right next to the Caps banner, the old school Caps banner there. Those have been there for a while, so I'm either blocking the way or the camera's just noticing it. So
no, you block them when you're sitting there.
Yeah.
They can't be seen unless you
That's
move
fine.
to get
Yeah,
them.
unless I move and wiggle and do my shimmy sham.
Do your shimmy.
My shimmy sham. But if I'm doing like this and just rocking back and forth, you can see that gray.
Then you can see the whale. Yeah.
Or if I'm looking over this way doing a little poster pose, I can do it that way. It also looks like the things are crooked on my wall, and I don't know how to, because everything else looks straight. It's very weird. This is what happens when we're looking at houses too, and I'm trying to figure it out. It's a fucking fun time. Any last words, Lyle? Obviously, we can't do haha fuck you, as there's no one here.
No, and just having me play it is just that'll get old in a hurry.
Yeah.
No, I think we got it covered, bud. I'm gonna have to go back to watching some of the games
Shimmy
here
sham
now.
out
Kind of pretend that I know what I'm writing about. So
I will give you a sneak peek of next week's haha fuck you. We're doing list. We put that idea out there where if there's a top 25 of some sort of stat in the year.
Ooh. Well, at least we know it won't be analytics anyway.
Right. Oh, God, no. Please. I'm doing top plus minuses. We're doing all plus minuses, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think plus minus is counted as analytic.
Nope. And it shouldn't be.
Analytic. Even the analytic gods hate it. So there you are.
There you are. Well, Lyle, thank you very much, buddy. It's been informative, and we appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week. It'll be June, and we may be close to a Stanley Cup clinching game.
We could be.
Who knows? All right. Enjoy your week, Lyle. We'll talk to you next.
You too, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. There he goes. Lyle Rich and SpectorsHockey.net's the place to go. At Spectors Hockey on Twitter is where you can find him and all his stuff. He's doing other things, too. But go to at Spectors Hockey on Twitter, and he'll post his stuff, and you can find him there. That's it. That's all. I've got nothing else. My shout-outs include going to Winnipeg. My shout-outs include washing my car for the first time. And shout-outs include house hunting. Fun times. Great times. Goodness times. Thank you all for watching and listening. Thank you for participating, even though I'm not good at the live chat and barely saw those things. So thank you to AJ, Eddie, and Chris there for helping us out and helping me out. I say us because it's contingent usually, and it's just me here alone. So, shout out to all you guys. Next week, like I said, the NAHL draft is on Tuesday. We will have somewhat comprehensive coverage on that. I might drop a Chesapeake Hockey Week because of the draft. We'll see what happens. And that's it. That's all. Jen's sick. I'm sure she's tired of me yelling. So we will go on from there. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I'm Scotty Waz. Take care of yourself and someone else. This has been Face Off Hockey Show on faceoffhockeyshow.com, part of Blog Talk Radio, even though they don't answer our fucking emails. Twitter.com/FOHS Radio, Facebook.com/FOHS Radio, and I think that's it. Yeah, Patreon.com/Face Off Hockey Show. Support us, and we'll support you with content. I don't know. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your week. Enjoy the rest of May. Enjoy the great weather out there. I had some patio beers today, and if you're of drinking age, or if you have a patio and can sneak out, have yourself a nice patio beer. It's wonderful. Until next week. Peace.